Bueno, let's do this. JavaScript Fundamentals Review. Let's say string constructor and toString method definition. A string object is used to represent a sequence of characters. String objects are created using the string constructor function, which wraps the primitive value in an object. Okay, we know what a string is. ToString method. This method converts a value. Oh, this is going to be long. Look at this. This method converts a value to its string representation. It is a method you can use for numbers, booleans, arrays, and objects. Okay. This method accepts an optional radix, which is a number from 2 to 36. This radix represents the base, such as base 2 for binary or base 8 for octal. If the radix is not specified, it defaults to base 10, which is decimal. Number constructor definition. Number constructor definition. The number constructor is used to create a number object. Number constructor definition. The number constructor is used to create a number object. The number object contains a few helpful properties and methods like the isNames and toFixed method. Most of the time you will be using the number constructor to convert other data types to the number data type. Okay, best practices for naming variables and functions. Camel casing. By convention, JavaScript developers will use camel casing for naming variables and functions. Camel casing is where the first word is all lowercase and the following words start with a capital letter. Example is loading. Naming booleans. For boolean variables, it is a common practice to use prefixes such as is, has, or can. Okay, naming functions. For functions, the name should clearly indicate what the function does. For functions that return a boolean, often called predicates, you can use the same is, has, or can. Prefixes. When you have functions that retrieve data, it is common to start with word get. So predicates, boolean, okay. With the word get, when you have functions that set data, it is common to start with the word set. For event handler functions, you might prefix with handle or suffix with handler. Naming variables inside loops. When naming naming variables inside loops. When naming iterator variables in loops, it is common to use single letters like I, J, or K. Naming variables inside loops. When naming iterator variables in loops, it is common to use single letters like I, J, or K. When naming iterator variables in loops, it's common to use letters like I, J, K. Okay. Working with sparse arrays. Definition. It is possible to have arrays with empty slots. Empty slots are defined as slots with nothing in them. This is different than array slots, with the value of undefined. These types of arrays are known as sparse arrays. Linters and formatters. A linter is a static code analysis tool that flags programming errors, bugs, stylistic errors, and suspicious constructs. An example of a common linter would be ESLint. Formatters are tools that automatically format your code to adhere to a specific style guide. An example of a common formatter would be Prettier. Memory management definition. Memory management. What does this mean? To adhere to specific style guide. Okay. Memory management definition. Memory management is the process of controlling the memory, allocating it when needed, and freeing it up when it's no longer needed. JavaScript uses automatic memory management. This means that JavaScript, more specifically the JavaScript engine in your web browser, takes care of memory allocation and delocation for you. You don't have to explicitly free up memory in your code. This automatic process is often called garbage collection. Okay. Closures definition. A closure is a function that has access to variables in its utter enclosing lexical scope even after the utter function has returned. Function utter function. Let y equal 10. Function inner function x plus y. Return inner function. Let closure outer function 5. Var keyword and hoisting. Var keyword and hoisting. Definition: var was the original way to declare variables before 2015, but there were some issues that came with var in terms of scope, redeclaration, and more, so that is why modern JavaScript programming uses let and const instead. Redeclaring variables with var. If you try to redeclare a variable using let, then you would get a syntax error. But with var, you are allowed to redeclare a variable. You know what this means? Then you would get the syntax. Yeah. Var. This is allowed and doesn't throw an error. Okay, that's a problem. Var and scope. Variables declared with var inside a block, like an if statement or a for loop, are still accessible outside that block. This is another problem that they fixed using let and const. Okay. Even programming languages get developed. Human nature is to make mistakes, then they fix it in later updates. Lognum. Okay. Hoisting. This is JavaScript's default behavior of moving declarations to the loop, moving declarations to the top of their respective scopes during the compilation phase before the code is executed. This JavaScript's default behavior of moving declarations to the top of their respective scopes during the completion phase before the code is executed. When you declare a variable using the var keyword, JavaScript hoists the declaration to the top of its scope. Another problem here. You see? Undefined. It's fucking ridiculous that there is a... Anyways, when you declare function, what did it say? To the top of their respective scope before the code is executed. When you declare a variable. keyword JavaScript hides the declaration to the top of its scope. Okay. When you declare a function using the function declaration syntax, both the function name and the function body are hoisted. This means you can call a function before you've declared it in your code. When you declare a function using the function declaration syntax, both the function name and the function body are hoisted. This means you can call a function before you've declared it in your code. Say hello. Function say hello console. Function name and the function body are hoisted. Variable declarations made with let or const. Variable declarations made with let or const are hoisted. Variable declarations made with let or const are hoisted, but they are not initialized, and you can't access them before the actual declaration in your code. This behavior is often referred to as the temporal dead zone. Reference error. No problems here. Variable declaration means are hoisted, but they are not initialized, and you can't access them before the actual declaration in your code. This behavior is often as the temporal dead zone. Okay, working with imports, exports, and models. Model, this is a self-contained unit of code that encapsulates related functions, classes, or variables. To create a model, you write a JavaScript code in a separate file. Exports any variable, functions, or classes you want to make available. This is like making a library, by the way. Have you ever heard of a library? Language library, coding language library. It's like making the one. A model is making a library. You could use in any other code you want. Anyways, any variables, functions, or class you want to make available to other parts of your application need to be explicitly exported using the export keyword. There are two types of export: named export and default export. Imports: to use the exported items in another part of your application, you need to import them using the import keyword. The types can be named import, default import, and namespace import. This was huge, by the way. Still is huge. But with the use of AI, really, maybe the AI can use it. Anyways, review is done. Let's do the quiz. JavaScript Fundamentals Quiz. To pass the quiz, okay, 18. Which one of these will create a string object? This one? No, wait. New string? What do you mean? What does this mean? It is a string. Why to string? What does this mean? I know declaring something. And it should be, well, new string? I don't think so. This is not. This, I don't know if this should be, I don't know. Maybe this one. How can you convert a string object into a string literal to string? Okay. Why can you use methods like .length, .repeat, .concat, .slice on a string primitive in JavaScript? Primitives are stored as objects internally. JavaScript temporarily converts the string primitive to an array. JavaScript temporarily wraps the string primitive in a string object. Have you heard this heard me mentioning or reading this in the previous review? I've never come across this before, but those methods exist natively on string primitives. Yeah, I will go with this. Primitives are stored. Okay. What will the following code log to the console? Okay. To string array. No, I think this one. I think it will be 8, 9, 10. Yes. 8, 9, 10. Which of the following returns a number object from the string 1, 2, 3? Number object 1, 2, 3. It's what? Returns a number object from the string 1, 2, 3. I guess it's either this or this one. Anyways, we'll go with this. What will number true and number false return respectively? Not a number, huh? Not a number. It's a boolean. I don't think it's a number. Nah. True and false. I don't think so. I don't know. What will number undefined and number null returns respectively? Okay, undefined null. I would go with nan and nan, which is not a number. I would go with that. Nan is not a number. Which of the following is the best name for a Boolean variable that checks if a user is allowed? Which of the following is the best name for a Boolean variable has permission? Is allowed to do something in your website. Has handle get has. Which of the following is the best name for a function that runs when a user submits a form? Submit. Handle submit. When a user submits, handle submit. Yeah, I would go with that. What is a spray array? A sparse array, an array where one or more indices have a value of undefined. An array where one or more not assigned a value. Yeah. This we have been through. In which of the following examples will ARR not be a sparse array? In which of the following examples will ARR not be a sparse array? In which of the following examples will ARR not be a sparse array? In which of the following examples will ARR not be a sparse array? Okay. This one not a sparse. This is a sparse. But this array this is gonna be sparse. And this is gonna be sparse. Okay. What is the primary purpose of a linter? Format code automatically to create documentation. No. To detect potential error and issues in code. To optimize code for performance. Let's go with this. I don't think so. To format code automatically to detect potential. To create documentation. I don't know. The primary purpose. Okay, what is a benefit of using a formatter in a code base? What is a benefit of using a formatter in a code base? This linter format and to compile code more efficiently, to ensure consistent code style, to convert, to detect node. In JavaScript, who or what is typically responsible for allocating memory to variables? The server, the runtime engine. I think it's the runtime. The developer, not the developer, of course. It's whether the operating system or the runtime engine. This one on me, I would go with the runtime engine. Okay. What will be logged to the console in the following code? Function, track total, initial value. Let total equal initial value. Okay. Return function increment. Return function increment. Okay. Total plus equal, which is this one, increment. Okay. Return total, which is here. Return total. Okay, it's gonna return total. What do we have? We have let track equal track total 1. It's track total. Console log track 2. So this is kinda fucking tricky because I think the initial value is gonna go here. Track total. And then we're gonna have value is 1 and the increment is 2, then which is 3, total 3, which means the other one is gonna be 4. Nope. Wait. If we started with 1, initial value is 1, then incremented 3, it's gonna be 4, but the other way around doesn't make any difference. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Okay. Starts with 1, then incremented 2, the total becomes 3. 3, that's a 3. And then is it a 3? The total is gonna be 3, or is it gonna? So let's say total is 3. The total is 3. Adding 3, that's gonna be 6. So what is hoisting in JavaScript? The process of creating new variables. I think it is the process of moving variables declarations to the top of their scope. Raising errors to the top of code automatically move var declarations to the top of the block. Process of moving variables declarations to the top of their scope. Automatically moving var declarations to the top of the block. I think it's this one. I don't know. It's one of these two. I don't know. Why is using the var keyword considered a bad practice in modern JavaScript? They're slow, then they don't allow type checking. They're accessible outside their block. What is the purpose of modulus in JavaScript? To make code more difficult? To improve code? No. To create new? No. To organize code into reusable units. That's it. How do we add an app.js script as a model in an HTML document? Script type model src app.js. I'm not sure about the src or something else. Well, it is src. I would go with this. Okay. Yeah. Which of the following examples exports the calculate sum? Oh, calculate sum function from a utils.js model and properly imports and uses it in an app.js file. Utilis.js. We're now at this one. Export default function calculates sum A and B. Return okay default, which means import calculate sum from utils.js. Okay, I'll go with this one actually, because this doesn't need anything. No, that could be it. Export is right. Import calculate sum from. What's the difference? Oh, these the curly parentheses. The curly parentheses. I don't think so. Is it? I think I'll go with this. Calculate sum. I'll go with this. Let's do this. Oops. It's wrong. What else do we have wrong? Linter, I know it. To detect potential errors and issues in code. Okay. Const AR. Alright, or is wrong. Okay, this is all wrong. This is right. Yes. Okay. Nan, undefined num. Nan, true and false. Okay. 1, 2, 3 dot to number is also false. Those methods exist natively on string primitive. Incorrect. What are you talking about? String primitives and a string object. String primitives are stored as objects internally. Nope. Actually, it's an array. It can't be an object because I recently went, if you go through the streams, dot length doesn't work in an object. It works in an array. So that's no. Okay, let's repeat. Let's repeat, you guys. Exit the quiz. Yes, I would like to leave. Then do it again. New string. How can you convert a string object into string literal? What do you mean? It goes to string. Okay. Nothing changed, huh? This is weird. Usually they changed the questions. Anyways, I'd go with an array. Okay. What will the following code log to the console? 8, 9, 10 returns which of the following returns a number object to number, so new number. I'd go with a new number. This one, right? What will number true and false? I go true and false. I don't know. Undefined. What does that mean? 1 and 0. 1 and 0. Undefined null. None and 0. Do you guess? It's not gonna be undefined and null. Undefined is gonna be none, not a number. But null is a 0. So I'm gonna go with this one. I don't think, yeah, I'm gonna go with this one. Okay, which of the following is the best name for a Boolean variable that checks if a user is allowed to do something on your website? Has permission. Which of the following is the best for a function that runs? Handle submit. What's sparse? Sparse. an array where one or more indices are not assigned a value. Okay, in which of the following will not be a sparse? Will not be a sparse, yeah. This is a sparse. This is a sparse. I know this because length. I got length 5. They're gonna be 5. Is it gonna be filled with 5? I'm not sure. I'm gonna go with this one. Okay, this time I'm gonna go with this. What is the primary purpose of a linter? I'm gonna go to detect errors and issues in code. Okay. This is the benefits. This we got right to convert code to detect to ensure consistent to allow developer compile code. Okay, consistent. I think we used what who or what is typically responsible for allocating memory. This we got right. Here we got 3 and 6 also. What is hoisting? I think we got this right. The process raising the process of moving variables. Var keyword considered bad practice in JavaScript. We know this because they're accessible. What is the purpose of models in JavaScript? To make code, wait, to organize code that are usable in units. This I think we got right. Am I correct on this? Did we get this right? I think we did. Type model script. Which of the following examples exports calculate some function from this we got wrong. So no, no. I'm gonna go with this one. Like my still incorrect. Correct. Why didn't I get 18? Not correct. So it's gonna be length 5. Oh my god. Incorrect. Is to number again. We got this wrong. Number, okay. Again, this is wrong. So it's either this or this. I don't know. Okay, let's do this again. Oh my god. Let's do this again. Okay, to string. Nope, it's a string, new string. To string. Script temporarily wraps the string primitive in a string object. I don't know if this is right or wrong. String, this is gonna be this number 1 and 0, 9 and 0 has permission, handle submit. What is this? Yeah. Not assign the value. ARR. I'm gonna go with this time. Okay. What is the primary purpose of a code linter? Yep, I think we got this right this time. God damn it. Code style. Runtime engine. 3.6. Did we get this right? Seriously. I would got this. Var. Yep. Guys, if we don't get this wrong right this time, it's gonna be a. This is we got wrong. Did we get this wrong or right? I'm not sure. I'm not. Okay. Okay, this is right. Import because you know why this star universal star they call it because it's a default. We have exported as a default, so we are importing it as useless from. Okay. Oh my god! I did this! Oh my god. Okay, guys. See you in the next one in a bit. We're gonna be doing higher order functions and callbacks, theory and workshop. Yes, theory. Let's check. Wait, theory. Oh my god. I don't think so. There's too much theory. Should we? I'm not sure. Oh my god, it's too much. I think we're gonna be doing this. See yous.